Hello all, it's Jeff again. Thank you guys for all of your feedback on the video that I made. It was very touching to hear how it affected so many people, and I'm here to try to help a little bit more. My wife asked some questions and asked me to answer them for everybody, so I'm going to go through some questions here and give you guys my perspective on how things went dealing with my wife's breast implant illness. One of the questions is, did I ever think that my wife was a hypochondriac? In the beginning, I didn't necessarily think she was a hypochondriac, but I didn't really understand what was happening with her. I guess I could have, I might have thought she was a little bit of a hypochondriac, but she got so sick at one point that she started having some really outwardly visible manifestations of being sick, and I knew that she was sick, so that went away pretty quickly. Did I ever get tired of hearing her talk about how bad she felt? I wouldn't say that I got tired of that, but it made me feel like I was hopeless because I couldn't help her. So it made me feel bad that she was feeling bad and I wasn't able to do anything. One of the questions is, did it become annoying to hear about all of her bizarre symptoms? No, it didn't. I mean, she had some kind of manifestation on a daily basis. And some days it would be, tingling in her feet and her hands, and her vision had these floaters in it, or she would feel really run down or tired or just really fog brain. So I didn't get tired of hearing about her bizarre symptoms, but she had a lot of bizarre symptoms, as most women with breast implant illness do. Did I ever think that my wife was just being lazy? Absolutely not. I've known my wife for 20 years, and she's not a lazy person at all. She's a very motivated person. So when I always used to tell her, you need to just sit down, because she would come home from work and she would clean and she would do the dishes and be doing laundry. She was just constantly go, go, go. And I would always tell her, you just need to sit down and relax. And when she got sick, she had no choice but to sit down and relax. So I never thought she was being lazy. What kind of doctor helped my wife the most? It's a combination. Her integrative medicine doctor helped her treat the symptoms, and then obviously the surgeon that she used helped her treat the main cause, which was the breast implant illness and having the explant. So it was a combination between her plastic surgeon and her other doctor. Was your wife sick for the entire 5 years? If not, when was she the most sick? She had manifestations of it the whole time, but there were times that she was more sick than others. When she first came down with the illness, she got very, very ill 5 years ago. And like for the last month and a half or so, month before surgery, she was pretty sick. So I would say at the beginning, at the end, she was the most sickest, but there was like a roller coaster. I mean, I never knew how she was going to feel from day to day. Was your wife ever to the point that she was unable to get out of bed? Very, very rarely. I mean, she would always be able to get up and get out of bed. I mean, there were very few days that she actually spent the whole day in the bed. She would always get up and come out to the living room, have breakfast, be engaged with our family, but she wasn't always like ready to get up and go anywhere by any stretch of the imagination. How did I react when my wife told me that she had BII? Well, I'd been a part of dealing with all the illness the whole time, so I've been to many doctors with her. I knew what her symptoms were. So once my wife studied out breast implant illness, I knew that she knew, because my wife is an extremely thorough person. That's why God gave her to me, because I'm not, and she dots all of her I's and crosses all of her T's. She's very down like that. What have I learned through watching my wife live with BII? That it's criminal what the plastic surgeon industry is doing to women to try and make their bodies look what society says they should look like. And nobody's telling these people you're going to get sick. This is going to have negative impacts on your health. I think that watching my wife live through BII has showed me that we really need to pay attention to what we're doing to ourselves, because even though the doctors say something may be okay or good for us or not harmful, we might not know for decades if that's true or not. What's been the hardest part for me watching my wife go through BII is the feeling of helplessness that I had, the feeling that I couldn't do what was necessary to help my wife get better. I mean, I thought go to the doctor, get a prescription, get better, give it some time to heal. And this, you can't begin to heal until you have an explant. So that was really difficult. Now that my wife is explanted, what is the difference I've seen so far? Well, she's 80% better. I mean, she gets up in the morning, she sleeps at night, she doesn't have dark circles under her eyes, her skin looks clear, she feels better, she is more clearer in her thinking, she is more active, she has more energy. I mean, she's exercising again, and she climbs the stairs in our home. She does like 20 flights a day, 30 flights a day, something like that. She couldn't do any of that when she had BII. So that's been the big difference. If there's one thing that I could do over while living with my wife with breast implant illness, what would it be? I kind of forced my wife to move twice in a short amount of time because we sold our home and we got a rental house while we fixed up our current home. And I made her move a couple times in like 2 months, and we had like 6 months in that house, and she was really sick during that time. And if I could do it all over again, I would have not rushed to get into my home, so she would have had another 4 months to be able to relax and recuperate and try to get better in the rental house that we had. I feel terrible that I kind of forced her to move during that time, and I wish I could do that over. I hope that this helps. I'll be happy to answer any questions for anybody if I can. I'm not a doctor, so please don't think that my advice is medical advice. It's not. We'd like to thank the support group titled Breast Implant Illness and Healing by Nicole. That's how my wife became educated about breast implant illness, and we want to thank our daughter Alexia for telling her mom about BII, because she was the catalyst to head us into the direction of healing. I hope your guys' journey is a safe one. Get well. God bless.